Welcome to Food Safety and Childcare. This brief module is offered as a complement to early care and education college courses that cover health, safety, and nutrition. It is not meant to be exhaustive, but simply highlight important best practices and key information, as well as provide you with additional resources. Food Safe food practices are very important in childcare because young children are at a higher risk of choking and getting very sick from foodborne illnesses. Let's start by looking at ways you can help prevent choking. These strategies are detailed in Caring for Our Children, National Health and Safety Performance Standards, which is linked in the resources at the end of this presentation. Especially for young children who might be just learning to eat solid foods, offering small pieces of soft foods that they can pick up themselves is a great way to both support their eating exploration and to help prevent choking. Remember that young children's throats are quite small. This is why you want to cut foods to an appropriate size when preparing meals and snacks. For infants, food should be cut to a quarter inch or smaller, and for toddlers, food should be cut to a half inch or smaller. Young children also tend to be active and easily distracted. When you sit with children to eat during meals and snacks, there are multiple benefits across developmental domains. By sitting with children, engaging them in conversation, and actively observing their actions, you are able to help them slow down, stay focused on eating, and see any signs of choking right away. This level of connection and language development are also beneficial for children's social and emotional development. There are also some food textures and consistencies that are more likely to cause choking in young children. Caring for Our Children standards describe these as round, hard, small, thick and sticky, smooth, compressible or dense, or slippery. The most common foods children choke on are foods they tend to eat more often. These are also listed in Caring for Our Children and include hot dogs and other meat sticks, either whole or sliced into rounds, raw carrot rounds, whole grapes, hard candy, nuts, seeds, raw peas, hard pretzels, chips, peanuts, popcorn, rice cakes, marshmallows, spoons full of peanut butter, and chunks of meat larger than can be swallowed whole. When planning meals and snacks, it's a good idea to avoid these items, even if the children like to eat them. Let's move on to foodborne illnesses, which occur when someone eats a food or beverage that is contaminated, either by a microorganism, such as a bacteria, or by a non-food chemical. Young children are at a higher risk of becoming very sick from contaminated foods and drinks because their immune systems are still developing. It's harder for them to fight infections. They also produce less stomach acid than older people, so that the first line of defense that can kill off some pathogens is not as strong in young children as in older people. Just as there are some foods more likely to cause choking, there are some foods that are more likely to contain bacteria or other harmful pathogens that really need to be handled carefully to avoid foodborne illnesses, especially for young children. Do not serve any milk that is raw or unpasteurized to any children. Unpasteurized juice cannot be served to children ages 9 and younger. Do not serve raw or undercooked fish, shellfish, meat, eggs, or poultry, and raw sprouts. And for infants under age 1, honey should be avoided because it may have the bacteria Clostridium, which can cause botulism in babies. As a side note, pasteurization is the process of heating a food or beverage just high enough to kill off any pathogens, but not so high that it is completely cooked. There are 4 types of cross-contamination, which are the main ways that harmful pathogens or chemicals can accidentally get into food. Hand to food is when a person has something on their hands, whether they are wearing gloves or not, and it gets into the food they are preparing or serving. Ready-to-eat foods should not be handled with bare hands. Proper hand washing throughout the day, and especially prior to handling food or eating with the children, is really important. And remember to remove or change your gloves between tasks. For details on proper hand washing, please review the Caring for Our Children standards. Food-to-food contamination happens when the pathogen in one food is spread to the other foods. This can happen in the refrigerator if raw chicken or meat is on a shelf above ready-to-eat fruit and the juice from the meat leaks onto the fruit. Always store ready-to-eat foods separately and above foods that need to be washed or cooked in the refrigerator. Equipment or surface to food contamination happens when a cutting board, counter, can opener, or other preparation or storage surface is not cleaned between uses, and the germs get passed from food to food that contact that surface. Chemical contamination can happen if any chemicals, including cleaning and sanitizing solutions, get on a food that is eaten. Store chemicals safely out of reach and out of the food preparation and eating areas. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, along with the Food and Drug Administration, offers this advice to help prevent foodborne illness. Clean, separate, cook, and chill. Clean your hands, surfaces, food storage areas, and equipment properly. Separate prepared and ready-to-eat foods from those that need to be cooked or cleaned. Cook foods to the proper internal temperature and store foods in the refrigerator or freezer. Don't leave them out at room temperature. Which brings us to the temperature danger zone for perishable foods, which is 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. You need to keep your hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Anytime a food is held in this temperature range, bacteria or other germs that happen to be in or on that food multiply exponentially. In a few minutes, one bacteria can turn into hundreds. Any perishable foods like meat, seafood, dairy, cut fruit, some vegetables, and cooked leftovers that are kept out at room temperature in this temperature danger zone for more than 2 hours need to be thrown out. If the food is out in temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, such as at a picnic or in the car, should be thrown out after only 1 hour. Again, temperature is important for controlling harmful pathogens and pests. The refrigerator should be kept at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or below, and the freezer at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It's helpful to keep thermostats in the storage areas so you can monitor these temperatures. No one likes to waste food, especially when budgets are tight. Good food preparation and handling practices can help you prevent making anyone sick while still being able to utilize leftovers. Keep in mind that any foods that have been served, whether it's on a child's plate or passed around family style, need to be thrown out after the meal. Germs can easily be passed, and food is easily contaminated at the table, especially with young children. If you have any unserved food, that is, any food that has not left the kitchen, it can be stored in the refrigerator for use within the next 7 days. Hot food should never be placed directly in the refrigerator to cool. Foods must be rapidly cooled from 135 degrees Fahrenheit in 6 hours, provided that within the first 2 hours, the food is cooled from 135 degrees Fahrenheit to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Harmful bacteria can grow in foods at cold temperatures. If certain foods are kept too long, the bacteria can grow to unsafe levels and cause illness. The bacteria of greatest concern is Listeria monocytogenes, or LM. Date marking foods, in addition to storing refrigerated foods at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or less, is the best practice to protect against this harmful bacteria. Date marking requirements apply to institutional settings such as childcare facilities or school kitchens that serve food to children under the age of 5 because they serve individuals that are more vulnerable to disease. Date marking requirements also apply to facilities that specialize in serving children with weakened immune systems, regardless of age. 4 easy to follow steps for date marking include 1. Opening commercially packaged food or preparing food is the first step. Date mark these foods after opening or preparing if they are kept for more than 24 hours. Milk, cold deli salads made at a facility, hard-boiled eggs, deli meats, and hot dogs, soft cheeses, cottage cheese, cream cheese, ricotta cheese, cut melons, cut leafy greens, cut tomatoes, and refrigerated foods that will not be eaten and are kept longer than 24 hours after opening. It is not necessary to date mark these foods. Cereal, crackers, and other foods that do not need to be refrigerated. yogurt, buttermilk, sour cream, hard and semi-soft cheeses, commercially processed and packaged deli salads, foods that will be cooked before eating, condiments that do not require refrigeration, and foods that will be consumed within 24 hours of opening or preparation. 2. Mark foods that will be kept more than 24 hours with the date it was prepared or opened. This may be recorded by writing on the container, plastic wrap, or by using a sticker. 3. Mark foods with the date it needs to be used by or discarded. Foods must be consumed or discarded within 7 days. The day the food was prepared or opened is day 1. If the manufacturer used by date comes before day 7, then mark this date as the use by date. If preparing a food, review manufacturer dates for all ingredients. This may be recorded by writing on the container, plastic wrap, or by using a sticker. Discard any food that has not been consumed by the date determined in step 3. No food safety presentation would be complete without reviewing cleaning and sanitizing. Surfaces should be cleaned prior to sanitizing in order for the sanitizing to be most effective. Sanitizers must be food contact surface sanitizer. Once clean, apply the sanitizer of choice and allow to air dry. Surfaces need to be cleaned and sanitized between different types of foods. Please refer to the PDIS course, Everything You Need to Know About Cleaning, Sanitizing, and Disinfecting, for more information. The information in this module is based on a variety of sources listed. It highlights key points relevant to this topic, but is not exhaustive. We encourage you to take a look at them for more information and to share with families in your care. Thank you for joining us to review food safety and childcare. This module is made possible by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and was developed in collaboration between the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, Colorado Department of Early Childhood, the Integrated Nutrition Education Program, Culture of Wellness in Preschools, Pikes Peak State College, and Front Range Community College.